In this episode of Antique Bottle Stories, we'll be talking a little bit about this flask and a little bit about bottle colors. Flasks have a wide variety of shapes, styles, sizes, and colors. Here's a union oval. Here's a picnic flask, also called a JoJo. Shoe fly and coffin flasks are very similar. Here's a dandy, an eagle, Olympia, and a teardrop, just to name a few. I don't have one of every kind, but here are some of the ones that I have. Most flasks started being produced since before the Civil War and into the 1950s, and they're designed to be small and made to fit easily in a coat or a pants pocket or a purse. Although this one is actually 14 ounces and is quite large. Even though there's many flasks to talk about, I wanted to focus on this one for a minute. This one is a union oval flask. It has a raised strap or band down the sides, which is referred to as a strap-sided flask. Strap-sided union oval flask embossed with warranted, full measure, or guaranteed are a very common flask made primarily around the mid to late 1890s, and there are a few that scatter up into no later than 1920. These later strap-sided union oval flasks are usually found in aqua, colorless, or amber glass. They usually have tooled double ring finishes and are air vented. Air venting means small vent holes in the bottle mold which release pressure and gases from the mold while the bottle is being blown or expanded. Vent holes usually left a little glass dot or bump, which this one has. This bottle was blown in the mold. Sometimes the tops would have been sheared off or cracked off. The top would have then been reheated and the glassmaker would take some excess glass to form the lip, and a little tool would have shaped it. Not quite the same as the tooled top lip. It's not quite as neat as the tooled top lip. There's usually a small quantity of excess glass slopped over the finish. Sometimes the bottle maker didn't use enough finishing glass for the lip application, resulting in a finish that is missing some portions. It looks kind of unfinished and shows unevenness or waviness at the base of the finish, like mine does here. Notice how my lip is missing a chunk. Also, the neck is slanted. In general, the appearance of the applied finish is less symmetrical than the tooled finish. I actually love the crudeness of this one, and until I researched it for this video, I thought this bottle was much older than the 1890s. I thought it was one of the earlier ones close to Civil War time, but I really like this one though. So, as you can see, my bottle is turning purple. So let's talk about why bottles turn purple. There's actually different chemicals added to the glass to make different colors. For instance, aqua glass. Iron naturally occurs in almost all sand. Aqua glass is what the glass naturally looks like if it was not treated for the iron in the sand. Really high levels of iron produce darker colors, the darker greens, the black glass, even amber. Aqua is the most common color in all types of American-made bottles before the 1920s. After 1920, companies opted for the colorless glass because they wanted their product to be better visible to the buyer. For clear or colorless glass, manganese became known as glassmaker's soap because it could cleanse or neutralize the effects of the impurities of the sand, like iron. Manganese dioxide was used from the 1880s to about the end of World War I, so somewhere around 1918. So as time went on, we learned that the manganese reacts with UV light to turning bottles a pinkish purple color. When you see the really dark purple versions like this other flask of mine, someone has put that in a UV sterilizer, and it turns them purple much faster. We're talking like a day for the UV sterilizer machine to turn this dark purple, whereas if it happened naturally, it would take probably 40 plus years in the sun, and it probably still wouldn't get that dark. Typically, bottle collectors don't really find much appeal in the slick bottles like this one. Slick means it doesn't have any embossing on it, there's no identification, and therefore they're considered pretty worthless. Many times I see bottle dealers put these slick bottles in the UV machine so that they have a little bit more appeal for decoration as a purple antique bottle, and they can get a few more bucks for them. I didn't know that when I bought this one. So if you have a bottle that is purpling, you know that it's got manganese in it, and you know that it's probably a good 100 years old or more. So for milk glass. Milk glass was made with tin or zinc oxide, or fluorides and phosphates. It could also be created by adding calcium and phosphate-rich animal horns, bones, or even bat guano to the glass. Sometimes certain milk glass bottles have an orangish opalescence when you hold it up to the light. Milk glass was mainly used for cosmetic and toiletry products like lotions and cold creams. Green. Iron, chromium, and copper all produce different shades of green glass. Amber. Amber colors were produced from the natural impurities in the glass like iron, as well as from color additives such as nickel, sulfur, black lead, or carbon. Carbon was added to the glass batch in the form of coal, charcoal, or even wood chips. Cobalt blue. Cobalt oxide was added to the glass batch. Copper also produces different shades of blue glass depending on the batch ingredients and the melting pot environment. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. See you next time.